Against the Ropes podcast.
He's desperately trying to cover up. Ali won't extend himself while Lyles against the rope. But Ali smells blood.
What do you guys think about that one? Besides fireworks, who do you guys taking on that one?
I'll go Charlo on that one.
Any specific reason?
It was a close fight the first time.
Was very.
Yeah, it was a very close fight the first time around.
Did you agree with the decision?
Sure.
Unanimous decision.
No, well, what I mean to say is that whenever a fight is as close as I imagine that one to be, either winner I can't really be too upset about. So if a card goes Charlo's way or if it goes Harrison's way, I can't complain. I think where complaints come in is when people have like a wide card. Like if you have a judge who saw it 119 or 118, which sometimes those kinds of cards happen. So I can't complain about him winning the first one. Winning or losing the first one.
I agree with the card. I had Harrison winning either 8-4 or 7-5. Those jabs were just eye-catching. The head snapping back of Charlo was like those were the highlights. Yeah. And so he stuck to the game plan all fight. It was close, but I just think he just did enough. And you saw a visibly frustrated Charlo. Yeah, exactly. You saw him get emotional at the end, where you saw like Harrison, like I became a fan even like during the fight and then after, because he's like, I'll give you the rematch. And you see Charlo like, oh, like you lost. We're like, bro, come on, like no, like take your loss, take your loss like a man, and I'll respect you more.
Take it like a grown man.
So I'm excited about this fight. I do kind of favor Charlo in this rematch though, just because I'm not sure if Harrison can employ that same. The same tactics, and I just feel like Charlo comes in a little bit hungrier. He's going to be more aggressive. Yeah. You can see a power disparity a little bit favoring Charlo. So if I had to make a prediction, I would say Charlo. Slightly. And I would say 7-5. Still very close.
Oh, God. You even... Okay, 7-5. All right.
Calling out the scores and everything.
I hate it, but I'm going to agree with you.
Yeah. Yeah. He doesn't like the Charlos.
Oh.
Kittens only in the building.
And the sweater's on.
And the sweater is on. I believe in Santa and unicorn.
Holiday spirit.
It's so cute. That's a tough one to predict because Charlo is. I
hope I'm wrong.
I want to be wrong.
He's Lions only. Them two, the twins. I think Charlo will take it. For some reason, I feel like it's going to end up in a draw. It's just because. I don't know what Harrison is going to come. Was it an ankle injury that he had? Was it?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
And Charlo just on the PBC broadcast, he's like, "You faked your injury," just like stuff like that. I think more of the. I think Charlo will take it. I don't know by what, but for some reason, I see it's going to end up in a draw. Some stupid.
Do you think there's going to be some controversy?
Draw. Yeah.
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 You guys think he can hurt Harrison?
I think so.
I think so.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah,
I think so because he's so angry.
Yeah,
he's so angry.
He's gonna go from a kitty to a lion.
Tony Harrison has beat him in all those when he's talking smack.
Oh, yeah.
Holy bananas! I was sick. I didn't even get to go to the second one. I was watching it. My cameraman from Ring TV, and I'm sitting there. Damn it! I wanted to go live on this so bad, but I'm just listening. It's like, oh my God. One for him. It's like they don't even have to say anything. They just
defend yourself, Charlo. Put your hands up.
The thing is, a clever trash talker will always beat an emotional one. Always.
Yeah.
He gets under Charlo's skin so easily. It's hilarious.
That's gonna be good.
Yeah. Big fun.
We mentioned Chavez Jr.
So
I
don't.
Jacobs.
Is this fight?
Yeah, is it happening or not?
I don't know because
there's an asterisk.
Give us some context.
There is. I saw on Eddie Hearn's. I think it was Eddie Hearn or Matchroom that they said their tests from WADA, not VADA or anything. WADA have passed. They did blood and urine. It's weird that the fight's supposed to happen in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
But
something
they've sold tickets.
Okay.
It's selling out apparently in Arizona, but I haven't seen a lot of PR for it. I haven't seen posters.
I haven't.
And Chavez is also still suing Nevada, and Bob Bennett, and then the what is it? Nevada State Athletic Commission. It's crazy that they're able to extend his suspension for a license that he's not even a state that he's not even licensed in. little telling. It's weird.
Yeah.
I don't know how this is. I don't know how. But Gabe Rosado is supposed to be on deck just in case.
Jacobs is going to fight either way because Rosado will step in. Yeah.
Rosado's on the card regardless, but I see him. He's training in his living room. I saw Chavez's change.
That's the new thing.
But did he move the coffee table out?
I don't know. I don't know about that. I mean, if he's able to fight, he doesn't have to lose weight. Because I always said the minute when he fought Canelo, the minute he stepped on the scale and made weight, that's when he lost. Because he can't make weight like that. But I don't know for this one, for Jacobs.
Yeah, the advantage that Chavez Jr. had in the past, same as Nonito, he was the guy that could make weight and just be a bigger guy inside the ring the night up. He doesn't have that luxury anymore, and he's past his peak. I'm not sure if this fight is gonna get made or not, because like you said, Cynthia, I haven't heard any PR, any promotion for it and stuff. So I'm like,
we just see them. We just see them working out.
Yeah.
You see, I have to give props to Danny Jacobs. His robe. Did you see that? It was
Patrick Day.
Oh, I cried. It was so sweet because he was like a little brother to him, and it was. You have to see it. You'll cry. It was a nice gesture. Nice little dedication to him. But can we first talk about, you just mentioned it, Inoue and Donaire.
Oh, my God.
Okay.
That was a sick fight.
We have to talk about this fight because no one thought, I told Donaire, I go, honestly, I thought it was one and done.
Yeah.
Because Monster is the monster for a reason. I did not expect you to take him into deep waters. You were controlling that fight at the beginning. You were the aggressor because Inoue is usually the aggressor. And you cut him. I mean, it was blood. I honestly thought it might get stopped. And I was going to be pissed if it got stopped because I wanted to see them fight. But Donaire said he didn't really care about the fight. He wasn't one of those fighters that took advantage of it and, like Otto Wallin did with Fury. But he's like, I didn't want my fight to be stopped. I want to be able to stop it because it was a knockout or it was by decision or, something. But I didn't want that. He's like, I'm a veteran at this, so I wanted to just show my skills in box.
And you interviewed him recently, right? Where can we check that
out? You could see it on... I split it up in a couple. There is one interview on Ring Digital, which is Ring TV's YouTube channel, and the rest is on mine, The Real Fight with Cynthia Conte. So one of the videos, he describes this fight, that's on Ring, and the one that he talks about asking Inoue to borrow the trophies on mine. And that one I even asked, and it was amazing. He said, I've always want to teach my kids respect and integrity. Yeah. I always do what I say, and when I make a promise to my kids, I never want to break it. So he got into the locker room, and he realized the promise, and he just cried. And he's like, I got ready, I got showered, I asked the team. And instead, he sat there and thought about it, and then he went and asked Inoue.
Oh, man.
And I go, that alone is that's heart-wrenching. Yeah. But that's just mad respect to those two guys.
Yeah. Everywhere that Nonito fights, whether he fights in Ireland, Frampton, or he's always shown class, and he always hangs out with them after, and he shows that even after a fight we could be friends. We can, inside the ring we're warriors. We're, fighting for our families, for our legacy. But outside and you see the love that he gets from, so
he's a world class. I mean, future Hall of Famer. He was now elevated. Because Luis Neri didn't make weight, so now he's fighting Ubali. That's a good fight. Honestly, I kind of wanted Naoya to fight Ubali to take revenge for his brother's loss. But I'm so happy for Nonito that he's able to fight contention mode, WBC belt. I love Nonito. He's such a good classy guy.
Yeah, we talked a little bit about the Nonito Inoue fight. We are like pre-fight prediction, the same as you. We kind of thought like, Nonito might get stopped maybe in the 6th because this is a monster in his prime. Like this guy is just a pound for pounder. Yeah. Nonito, he was a pound for pounder, but he is past his his prime. And
hey, you never know. I mean, he could get his second wind.
but he showed us that night why he was a pound for pounder, why he was so revered. Why he's still so respected in the boxing community.
Yeah, I think we praised him a lot.
Yes.
We said Inoue has to be careful with that left hook, right? We said it, but I don't think even we expected him to do this good.
Yeah.
To break his nose. To give him the concussion.
I can say with certainty I did not.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's one of those things where Nonito Donaire came up through the system here. Like I'm a fan of Nonito Donaire's. I have a tremendous amount of respect for what he accomplished. But even his path to get to the final was unconventional. He didn't really win his way there. He kind of
The boxing gods were very, I mean, it's
exactly.
crazy.
So you look at it, and the feeling to me was kind of, okay, he's older. He hasn't had to make this weight in a long time. He's coming into a final that he maybe shouldn't be in because of the fact that, he had a last-minute replacement and one opponent who was injured on some freak injury that, happened in the middle of the fight, right? In a fight which Nonito may have been losing at that point, right? So you looked at it, and I thought, it's not his time anymore, right? And it's Inoue's time. And this is a situation where I was very, very wrong, but I was also
very happy to be
pleasantly surprised to be wrong in this case because I got up at 3 a.m. to watch the undercard in that fight, and I was not disappointed at all. I would do it again, and it was one of those things where I was like, man, I'm gonna get up and there's gonna be some knockout like 3 rounds in, and all this stuff, and it was easily a fight of the year candidate. I'm sure some people will pick it.
I can guarantee you.
I think that's my front runner. Maybe I got to go back.
Really?
I got to go back, but.
Yeah. Someone said Spence Porter. I could see that, but I think what Donaire did, he made the monster clinch for the very first time in his career, ever. And Nonito's a veteran. I mean, shoot, I'm so happy for him.
And you saw when he threw that left hook, you're like, oh, if he could land it.
Right?
If he could land it, it was inches away. Man, honestly, I don't think there was a better opponent for Inoue that night than Nonito Donaire because he made him a better fighter. Better fighter because of it.
Yeah, and he even said, I learned a lot about myself. I learned about my the aggressiveness, things that he now. It's weird that for this late in the game for him, and which is not because, but for what he has 40 fights, 40 wins, I believe, 6 losses. I think so. Yeah, that he knows that he still has so much more to learn. It's so crazy to me.
Wow.
Yeah. For me, it's like a toss up between that one and Roman Doheny. But I'm kind of leaning Roman Doheny to be honest.
That
fight was fire.
Yeah,
that was absolute fire.
Yes,
back
it
in
was.
April, right?
Oh yeah,
right here
at the Forum, man. Oh,
no one expected that too, and I was so happy. I was like, God.
I think I'm kind of leaning towards that one, but
but just going back to Nonito being in that tournament, just looking at it, I'm like, I don't even know if he wants to be in the final, right?
Right. Yeah.
Like you're gonna face Inoue most likely, and we knew that was dangerous territory. But I think he proved everybody wrong in that sense that he can go toe to toe with the monster.
Well, not just that. I think that a lot of what we expected of Inoue is based off of what he did in the first few rounds of that. For a lot of people, that's their first visibility or the first time they're watching Inoue compete. He hadn't been in with someone the caliber of Nonito Donaire prior to that. So we kind of were giving him credit for what he was doing to people who were not on the same level as Nonito Donaire.
Yeah.
And because he's in his prime and Donaire is not, we think he's going to run over him. But the truth is that's a very seasoned individual. That's a 4-weight division world champion. It's a Hall of Famer. He's just not a guy it's easy to run over, particularly when he's coming down to meet you, right? So
he proved. I mean, People didn't even know who he was. They were just like, oh, Nonito, the way that he came up.
Yeah.
But he really proved to a lot of people the man had heart. He fought like hell, and he was able to take his power. I mean, credit to him. And I can't wait to see him back in the ring. That will be fun.
It's crazy how you kind of just delete that loss against the X-Man.
Yeah.
Walters, right? You
don't
even remember about that.
I remember. I was there.
I was there. We were there too. Let me tell you, there was like a bunch of Filipinos like sitting behind us.
Yeah.
And when he lost, they just left. They were just like, we can't believe it happened.
That was one of the most honest post-fight interviews I think I've ever seen. He was just like, he just kicked my ass. The guy's he was big and he beat me up.
Yeah.
Like, fair enough.
I like that. At least you're humble.
Right.
You're not gonna sugarcoat it.
Fair enough.
Exactly. I mean, because there was a moment in Nonito's career, he was just like blitzing through everybody and got him into the pound for pound. And then you see that loss to Rigondeaux. And then you see another loss,
It happens. It happens.
So that kind of makes you think like, oh, or especially the fans like, oh, I think this is it for Nonito, and so you kind of they discard him a little bit, but then you see this resurgence, you're like, damn, man, he still has that to offer.
Yeah.
So immediately after the Inoue fight, I'm gonna ask you guys, would you guys have been open to seeing a rematch or no, or did you feel like I felt? I was like, I think that's the most I Nonito could give at that moment. I was like, I'm satisfied with seeing that performance.
I'm satisfied with that.
Yeah.
I think because he knows his power. They both know each other, and it just. For him, I don't think he can break his nose again because it's just like the Andy Ruiz. It's like we saw what we saw. I don't want to see it again because he's already won the Muhammad Ali trophy. If he wins this rematch, it's not like he gets the Muhammad Ali trophy. You know, he was fighting for belts and that trophy. So it's not like Inoue's going to give him that. Yeah. So that's done. There was a reason for that series, and now he's fighting for the vacant. Yeah. Ubali's belt.
What do you think?
Would I want to see it again? No.
Let's say if he potentially gets past Bali.
I would not. And part of it is just because, as good of a fight as that was, it was good because it was hard for both men, right? And at this point in Nonito Donaire's career, I don't know that he needs to go through that again, right? Like we saw it. It was incredible. He could even win. You don't know, but it's kind of like, is it worth it? Is it worth it at that point in your career to take that kind of grueling fight? Like I said, he came up through the system here. I've been watching Nonito Donaire fight for years, like back on all-star cards and things like that, right? So I think for me, it's like that was a great moment. Let's just leave it at that,
I agree with that.
Yeah.
100%. What do you think?
I agree.
You'd like to see it again?
Part of me wants to if he gets past Bali, but then, he has so much more to offer outside of boxing. You see how he's an ambassador, to the sport, and I feel like maybe there's other plans for him, and so he should take care of himself and his family.
Yeah, he has his kid. Yeah. Are you guys going Vergil Ortiz? Oh. He's solid.
He is solid.
Vergil Ortiz Jr. is solid.
Yeah.
One of my favorite fighters.
One of the most disciplined fighters out there
God.
right now.
Yeah, he is.
We'll share a story. He's not allowed to date.
What? Really?
Yeah.
I'm gonna ask him that next time. No, I just interviewed him. That's why. So, really? Yeah, why? Did his dad?
His dad and him are very close.
Yeah. I didn't know that. Yeah. I'm gonna clown that now.
Yeah. So I think that is.
You should ask him on a date. Yeah.
No, okay, go ahead.
Yeah, so
my dad doesn't let me.
So yeah, they're I guess his dad is no nonsense. It's all about training.
That's awesome.
No distractions. Vergil Ortiz respects him, like no other. And so he's like, my dad is telling me to do this for a reason.
Yeah.
We're only in the sport for a short period of time, so I gotta just be disciplined. And so
there is a thing I asked Robert Garcia last week when I went up for their media day for Vergil's. And I said, why is it that when Vergil Ortiz's name is never really floated when Shakur, Ryan Garcia, Teofimo Lopez, when they all started coming up? And they said, well, maybe because they all get in their certain situations, with the legal issues or something. And Vergil Ortiz is at home trying to learn how to play a freaking piano or the guitar or something and doing something. And he's just like, he knows what he wants. He's a good kid. And that's all he wants is just to become a world champion. Yeah. I love it. I think that's great that you can't, you can only do so much, But I can't wait to see him fight. I normally don't go to fantasy fights because it's 2 hours. It's like what, 2 hours away on a Friday.
Yeah.
So I would have to leave like at 12 to get there by 2. But I'm actually gonna go and cover and. Yeah.
That whole card is great though because it's not Alexis Rocha's on that card. Luis Feliciano is on that card.
Oh, Sergey Bohachuk.
Albert Machado's on that card. So like, there's a lot of you're gonna get to see some people who are gonna be the future of boxing on that card. It's gonna be great.
I love that. It's gonna be a really, really good fight. So I can't wait to see it.
Friday evening on
Friday
the Zone.
evening
That's right.
on the Zone.
I'm gonna pull my phone out. I'm at work.
I'm gonna be driving home with the fights on.
Be safe, Gio.
I do it too. Don't worry.
Oh my!
Sometimes I'll put it right in front. And I'm like, shit, I can't do that.
I think that's even better because at least you're not looking down. You
That's
still
true.
get some
You're
of the
not-
road.
Yeah. It's like it's there,
Start doing
and
that.
I'm just like.
Do you pull over
It's
when
a
it's
real
gonna be a
fan.
knockout?
Sometimes I get
do.
I like I have to exit. I was like I can't. I'll just go I'll go sit in a restaurant at a bar and just like, because I'm a very passionate but very aggressive fan.
Yeah.
Like that's like even for football. I was screaming when the Patriots lost on Sunday, which they shouldn't have. But I was screaming at the television so bad, like those crazy boxing fans. I'm one of those.
That's why I don't invite people over for boxing matches.
And it's hard on press row. We can't really.
Yeah.
We can't. We're just like. I'm
like
like.
screaming inside, but
Yeah, I'm like. Like Stephen K.O. Artist and I, from K.O. Artist, we were watching the Wilder Ortiz fight, the rematch, and where they sat us, and we're just like, he's up here, and we're like, and all the fans are just screaming like crazy, and all the media was just like, oh, ooh, and we're like, oh, it's so hard to not react. But yeah. I don't know if you saw the interview that Vergil Ortiz, I asked him, or even his post-fight interview, that his last fight with Orozco, which was took him out in 6.
yeah.
He said he's not ready for a world title yet.
Oh, he said this.
Yeah, he said that. He said I have a lot to learn. I know my mistakes. I have to work on them, and he wants to kind of take his time, and he's like, there's no rush. Even Robert said that. He's like, he's 21. There's no rush because
14-0
14-0 by way of
14-0.
14 knockouts, and it's kind of true if you think about it, because the welterweights, they're all PBC. They're all Errol Spence,
Yeah.
Manny Pacquiao, Terrence Crawford. So if he fights and gets a belt, that's all he has to fight now.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
and he's the only one in Golden Boy. They're all one's over at Top Rank that's fighting Saturday tomorrow. Wait. No, yeah, I don't even know what day it is. And then the rest are at PBC. Errol Spence, we don't know when he's coming back. Keith Thurman, Sean Porter. But he did tell me who he would fight if it was a step-up fight.
Ooh.
It was on my interview. I tell you guys go watch it, but I'll tell you. As a step-up fight, Keith Thurman he would want.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's a bit more than a step-up fight.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think there's like a level between where he is now and Keith Thurman that he should
But
explore first.
But you
I
never
think.
know. You never
Yeah.
know. You never know, because guys who've never been dropped, he's taken out in less
Sure.
than 6 rounds.
Yeah.
But this fight,
Yeah.
he wants to show he can box, because
Kinda
people
reminds-
say he doesn't box.
Yeah.
Kind of reminds me of Teofimo Lopez, right?
Yeah.
Fighting.
He's
Richard
fighting this
Comey.
Saturday.
Yeah, but you see, like Teofimo Lopez is a great example of someone who had a score of successive knockouts and then came up against a durable opponent because at a certain level, people stop just going down, right? Like so when you end up fighting someone who's in for the long haul, it's a very different fight. Teofimo
Better at
Lopez,
avoiding punches.
yeah, Teofimo Lopez didn't look quite as impressive, I would say,
Yeah.
in his last fight.
Definitely.
How do you think he's going to do against Comey?
Tough fight.
It's a
Tough
very
fight.
tough fight.
I
Tough
think he's
fight.
gonna struggle a little bit.
Yeah, I think he'll show some of that.
Man.
Those nerves.
I think it's
as-
50-50.
I think it is
honestly.
50-50.
There's a lot on the line, because
He's
if
not
he
my favorite
wins,
right now.
he's in line for Loma.
Yeah.
This is
The winner of this one gets Loma, essentially.
that's big.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the goal.
Yeah,
How-
it's tough.
How do you feel about Devin Haney?
I was just thinking
calling out Loma.
I like it, but he just had surgery. Did you see? He
Yeah,
had
on his shoulder.
So he'll be
Devin?
out.
Yeah,
Wow.
his
Yeah.
shoulder surgery.
Yeah, his shoulder surgery. I think Devin Haney. I love him. He's like my little brother. I wouldn't mind. I would like to see a Loma, but I don't know if he's ready just yet. But I don't know if
not ready.
Teofimo is ready just yet for Loma either.
Yeah.
I think they're still junior varsity, and they maybe need a couple more fights just to solidify that you're not taking on just a little knockout. You're taking on the Matrix. You're taking on
Yeah.
this wizard of boxing.
Yeah, to me, I like that he has that confidence, that hunger to want to when other fighters are not calling him out. Yeah, sure, he got elevated, and maybe like they're like, okay, you got your belt. We're gonna keep you away from him for a little bit. But as a fighter himself, I like that he has that confidence, because he did look sensational before last fight. he looked great on the fight previous. This one, he was fighting against a ranger, taller fighter. He had some trouble.
Haney.
Uh-huh.
At the KSI, yeah.
fight.
Yeah. No, I know.
What do you guys think about that fight?
Which one, KSI?
Yeah.
Logan?
Hey, if they could do it, we could do it, right?
Let's go.
Oh, I've had.
Oh, we're setting up a fight.
Gio and I are going to do a
okay.
charity podcast battle.
Okay.
Yeah.
A charity podcast battle.
Okay.
We're going to fight for charity. is
One
what
round?
we said.
Okay.
3 rounds.
Gio said he only needed 2 hours. I told him, I'm an old man. I need a full camp. I need like 8 weeks. You know,
Give me a
summer 2020, and we could do it.
I'm trying to set up a fight. Actually, no, not me.
Oh, what?
No, actually, I would.
Okay.
So there's I met this football player. He plays for LA Wildcats.
Okay.
Sean Oakman. Tall guy. I thought he was a fighter. I see him at Wilder Ortiz. Figure he's a fighter. Everyone thought he was a fighter. He's 6'9", and we're just chatting, and I had him in my interview. And I go, who would you fight if you fought for charity? Brandon Marshall, the football player that's trying to be or wants to be a boxer.
Oh, yeah, that guy.
And I'm like, oh, shoot, let's do it. And I'm like, for charity, because I mean, you're a football player. He's a football player also turned boxer. But I think for charity, it's always fun. I think the KSI Logan Paul, the first one was just to settle a beef. I don't even know, but
I don't really know. Yeah,
I still but the second fight, it was wildly entertaining.
It was entertaining. Yeah.
I sat with Regis Prograis. We watched it together. We're just watching it, and we're like, "Oh, this is fun." But you know, it was fun. Yeah. It was just, it was a very different fight night. It was quiet. Everyone was. I mean, maybe I'm old and I don't really know all these YouTube influencer stars, but every time someone walked in, everyone would look to the left from where we were at, and we're like, who's that? We have no idea. And one guy I swear, he looked like Jesus. I'm like, oh, he looks like Jesus. He had this robe on. And they're like, no, his name is, I don't know if it was Jesus or Jesus. I'm like, oh, shit. And I'm just like, oh.
That's Chewy.
But it was weird seeing little kids and just they weren't I mean, when Devin Haney got booed and Billy Joe Saunders, I was I'm like, don't disrespect our sport. Like, you're paying money to watch your 2 YouTube influencer people or dudes that train their asses off. And I'll give it to them. They train. They respected the sport by doing that. But get in the ring, you should have told all your fans ahead of time, all your millions of fans, don't boo. Please cheer on the people here and, at a fight.
Fair enough.
I think in a lot of ways.
That is my 2 cents on that.
In a lot of ways, that little experiment backfired because I think that was an attempt to capitalize on a lot of kind of youthful young fans and say, hey, you know what, let's put Billy Joe Saunders in there. Devin Haney's turnaround on that was something like 5 weeks or 4 weeks or something. He had just fought before that. The idea of getting him on that card is to say, hey, let's build up a new audience for him because these are guys who have strings of spectacular knockouts. This is a guy that Billy Joe Saunders should be able to take care of, a guy that Devin Haney. Like, the reason you put White Chocolate on after Devin Haney is because you think you can capitalize on the fact that he looks like one of the guys that's in the main event. Like, you're going to draw all kinds of fans that are going to say, hey, that guy, I can relate to that guy. I'm going to follow that guy. And in a lot of ways, it didn't work, I think, for 3 reasons, is because Billy Joe Saunders and Devin Haney's fights weren't especially entertaining. And if you were a Logan Paul fan, you probably never want to watch boxing again because you're going to watch that and go, that's ridiculous. They took points away for reasons that I don't understand.
Logan doesn't even know.
Yeah, exactly. like they don't know how the scoring works and all this, and you're like, and all of a sudden the guy who looks like he maybe should have won, he lost, but I don't understand why. So like, I think there was, it was an attempt to capitalize on all that. I'm certain that it worked in the sense that the gate was probably amazing. Yep. You know that those weren't all boxing fans because they were all there for the first card of the night. You could see on TV, everybody's there, right? Which doesn't happen in LA for regular boxing events. Like, people don't come until the end. So like,
they were there to hopefully get autographs and pictures.
Yeah.
It was weird. Just even walking around, I'm like, this is so strange. Usually people are running up to boxing, like boxers or legends walking through the hallways. They would just pass them and just go find this, I don't even know, someone that has like millions of followers and this girl with makeup. I'm like,
Exactly.
I have no idea, but it was. But expect to see more of those kind of fights on.
Of course, yeah.
DAZN. Probably, I think Logan Paul will be fighting again.
Wow.
He said he wanted to in the post fight. He said he'd definitely fight again.
Well, of course. I mean, if you're gonna make that kind of money, shoot, I'll fight too.
If you're being matched with people with the right, like I've always said, and this was by no means what I would say like a classic fight, but the truth of the matter is it doesn't take great fighters to make great fights. It takes two people who are kind of equally matched. And so when you get two guys like that, they train seriously. They're about evenly matched in terms of what their experience was. They were able to make something that was even kind of entertaining.
It was.
Except for the fact that, you know, like if you put them in against a person who's been boxing their whole life, it wouldn't go that way, right? But that's not important. If you keep matching them properly, then you'll get some good fights out of it.
I think it was just weird to me that they were the headliners too, and the co-headliners or the undercard were world champions.
Yeah.
And White Chocolate.
White Chocolate's fight was fun. I mean,
Up until the
No,
ref
his fight
messed
was
it up.
even,
The
yeah,
ref
I was
messed
gonna
that one
say
up.
his fight even got, you know, like where they called it off for disqualification.
wait,
Like,
so what exactly happened? Because I remember Regis and I were watching it. We're like, oh, the guy got caught. He was still gone. Like you could see he's still seeing birdies. So I know and then I just remember, what's his name? Who he fought? Who did he fight?
I don't recall.
But
who
I
it
just
was.
remember him in the corner. He's like,
Yeah.
I was like, what's he? What? I'm like, I don't. And I think he didn't realize he didn't hear the bell, so that's why he kept throwing. He didn't because he was still gone.
Yeah. I think he did hear the bell and he still threw a late punch. And that's what prompted the
And he almost hit the
disqualification.
referee.
He almost hit the
Yeah.
ref.
Yeah.
And that sucks because you knew Kichaka was going to get a sensational knockout that would have captured the
Yeah.
imagination of all those people.
But it was still it still got the crowd like, oh,
Yeah.
this is what's supposed to be happening. Because unfortunately, the Billy Joe Saunders, it didn't happen that way.
Exactly. And Devin Haney didn't either.
Yeah, and so
And that's why they're not the headliners.
Those guys,
That's where matchmaking
Devin
comes
Haney
into play.
was put in there to get a spectacular knockout.
Yeah.
Like that, he was in that situation.
He
It was
did
just
it.
he didn't get it.
But do you put him in there with a rangy, tall fighter that can kind of box too? You don't do that. I mean, if you want to capture the imagination of the casual fan or the, a potential casual fan, you put him in there with someone that he can blow out.
well, that what he was supposed to blow
That's
him
what I
out.
think. Yeah, that's right. I think he's supposed to do
He's
that.
supposed to.
He was supposed to.
Yeah, but
Same with Billy Joe Saunders. Like Billy Joe Saunders was supposed to put on, a clinic
Yeah.
of
He was
sorts.
losing, wasn't he?
He was.
It was a close fight.
It was
close.
yeah.
It was a close fight.
he didn't
Yeah.
look sensational. He just
It was. He learned a lot. He learned a lot from that. I asked Ben Davison about that. I asked, did he say anything? He's like, well, yeah, we talked about it. He knows what he did wrong, and he made his American debut, and now sexy Sergio Martinez had called him out. Did you see that?
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
We've been trying to reach out to Sergio.
Called
Maria,
Bella.
hit us up.
Okay.
Yeah,
Get
that's
the
his
contact?
guy.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, it's I saw that he wants to fight Billy Joe Saunders and someone else in 2020. I don't want him to because
No, I
his
don't want to.
knees. I mean, after that fight with Chavez Jr. And then the loss with Miguel. God,
I still
just
can't
stay
see any-
sexy and go stay sexy, Sergio.
Yeah, because we've seen his stories and he's working out. He's in the gym. He's
Yeah.
No, it's not the
losing
same,
weight.
man.
But yeah,
It's-
and we're big
age.
fans of
It's
Sergio.
different.
We're big fans of Sergio. So
But if you bring him in, I want to be here.
Hey.
Yeah, that would
Maravilla.
that would be interesting.
maybe we could do a tuna fight with Alfonso, and then we'll see from there.
Oh yeah.
Alfonso,
Ooh.
¿te inscribes o no?
Hey, make it happen.
Make it happen.
Make it
Alfonso
happen.
Gomez.
I know Alfonso Gomez.
Make it happen. That'd be good.
He used to train. He trained out of my gym when I owned it. Yeah, I remember. That's how I know him. My sister was his strength and conditioning coach at the very beginning.
Did he train properly?
He did actually.
Oh, okay.
He did. He did. And then, because I remember looking.
You
at
seem
him.
surprised, Gio.
I know.
I'm very surprised.
No respect.
Alfonso.
I've never seen a six pack on that man's torso in his life.
Stop it. Stop
Saludos,
it.
Alfonso.
Oh wait, did you guys see Diego Pacheco? Let's go talk about this. Oh, I love Diego. Good, solid kid. 18 years old.
18?
18. He fought on the KSI, and I've been interviewing him throughout his little career, and I always ask my first question. Do you have a nickname yet? Because they're still trying to find a nickname. Eddie Hearn still haven't found one, but his performance on the on Saturday was probably the best fight of the night.
Yeah.
Man.
He always says he wants rounds,
right?
but
we like the draw.
I liked the Povetkin and Michael Hunter.
That was a great fight.
Was a great fight.
Yeah. I like that fight with Hunter a lot.
Yeah.
A lot. I think he wanted to show everyone the first round, but then I think he got a little winded, and it was a tough fight.
He almost did, though. Like, he was doing really well in the first round.
Yeah. But then I think it was the 11th and 12th round, you could see his body it's like Raggedy Doll. I'm like, it's going to be a draw. Watch. Just watch.
It was a good draw, a warranted draw in my opinion.
Yeah, it was.
I was hoping for a draw, surprisingly.
Yeah.
People had Hunter up, which I could see, but I could see a draw. It was good.
Povetkin didn't deserve to lose, or Hunter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would have been a heartbreaker.
Yeah. I would like to see a rematch on that one.
That'd be good.
Yeah,
That's a
that'd be
good rematch.
Yeah. But going back to the Pacheco knockout,
Yeah.
man, we were expecting that, right? I think they were expecting it too, putting him right before the Andy Ruiz and Joshua fight.
He was like he's the co-main. I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. No, he was he's solid. He's just a solid fighter.
Yeah.
He's one of those stays at home, does what he needs to do. He wants to be a world champion. But I was like, take your time. You're young. I know you're young and hungry, but you got time.
He's taking that same path with Vergil. Just calm, stay focused, stay disciplined.
If he wins, let's just say, if he wins this fight on Saturday, he wants to. I said maybe 7th round knockout. He wants to show he wants to show he can box. People say he doesn't box. I said, well, if you keep knocking everyone out in 6 rounds or less, then I see why they don't say you box. But
Doesn't need to.
he doesn't need
has
to.
that power.
I know, but he wants to show.
Still need to. You got to get the rounds in.
Still gotta get
Yeah,
further
that's the
conditioning.
challenge. Yeah.
At a certain, because for the reason that I mentioned before, right? At a certain point, people don't just lay down. You know, like when you're in there with the top welterweights in the world, those guys are going to give you some work. You know what I mean? You have to be ready for it. If you've only gone 6 rounds in your career, and then you have to fight, someone who's like one of the top welterweights in the world, that's not good for. It's not a good situation, I think, to be in.
I thought Mauricio Herrera was gonna take him there.
Yeah.
But took him out.
Herrera,
Man.
Yeah.
He made it. That's the one he made his legs wobble, almost like buckled and almost flew out. Oh man, did you guys talk about the Valdez? The Valdez fight was good.
That was a good fight.
Let's talk about that.
Late
the
replacement.
Adam Lopez. Blue nose.
Oh, Blue. That was a great fight. I do have a question. I know that I've always asked since the mental game when his jaw was broken from the Quigg fight. He was getting hit. He wants Burchell. When he stood next to him, I'm like, okay, why does he look like a welterweight, a super welterweight, like compared to Valdez? Now, that's a really scary fight, but it's going to end up happening. Do you think Valdez can he get better? Because I know he's training with Reynoso, but you can't make a chin stronger. And the minute you get hit there, Burchell's going to attack that. He's going to, and his chin's not granted, sadly.
You could see even against Adam Lopez, he still kept his mouth open a lot. So I think a lot of the, broken jaw stuff that's one of the reasons that people are going to get their jaw broken. But also I think Adam Lopez he's kind of made his bones beating people as a B-side fighter.
Yeah.
And to the point where then he was signed and, a lot of effort was kind of put into his career at that point from Top Rank. And so I'm not really surprised. I think Adam Lopez is really no walkover.
No, he's not.
But I think the surprising fact comes from, or the surprising element of it is more like it's a guy who moved up in weight on one day's notice to fight Oscar Valdez. But I wasn't surprised that he did as well as he did. And I kind of felt like it was stopped a little bit too early.
Yeah.
Definitely. Definitely was.
I'm not the referee, so I can't see what's going on in the fighter's eyes, but I think Adam was winning the fight, and I think that with 7 seconds left in the round and a full ring behind him, he had just pivoted off and found a full ring back. No doubt in my mind he would have made it out of that round. He would have been able to recover. But at the same time, despite the jaw, I just think the ruthless aggression of
The way he
Berchelt,
walked him, yeah.
and the size differential that you can see between the two men when they're standing in the ring. To your point, that's a tall order. I'll make a prediction on that one. I know I give you guys a lot of 50-50s.
You're like, I know this one for sure.
But not for sure, but I think if you go down the checklist, and you're saying who has the advantage in these different areas, Berchelt has a lot of advantages in that fight.
Yeah, who is it? Is it Andre Ward? Like the whole team, Tim Bradley, they're afraid for that. They just I mean, I would be afraid too. Berchelt just is like a whole different specimen.
Yeah, now Berchelt, Mexican, but he has a different style than the Mexican fighter. You see him be in those wars with with Vargas, with Uriah. You seen what he does to those type of fighters. So this guy is in his prime. He's
a real deal.
He doesn't get as much promotion as the others.
Yeah.
But he's the one that they're in a way avoiding because they know how
he's dangerous.
Yeah, definitely. Low reward, high risk. So
yeah, definitely. Yeah, dangerous fight for Valdez. Can he get better? I think he's gonna have to.
He can get better for sure, but would he win? That's kind of like I don't know. Berchelt kind of seems to have the tools, I think, at this point in his career, and Oscar Valdez is.
I don't think for his second fight,
exactly.
I think they all moved up. Leo Santa Cruz. I keep calling him Peter Frampton. I told him that. He even says
he looks like a Peter.
He even says they call me Peter Frampton. But
he looked good in that fight too.
He did. He looked great.
Yeah.
But they're all moved up in weight. Yeah. So, I mean, I'd like to see Frampton and Leo Santa Cruz. The third one. But Berchelt for the second fight, I think maybe like one more fight later. I don't know. We'll see about that.
Yeah.
Man.
And I think, what else is there? Anyone else calling out? Anyone else? Is there other fights?
Another fight?
Oh, there's a Gervonta Davis fight.
Yeah, Gamboa.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
on the 28th.
I'll tell you what's gonna happen. He's gonna knock him out.
No, duh. I know. I know. I think it's great. It's out there. It's in Atlanta. No, it's in Baltimore. Excuse me. Wait, is it Baltimore? Baltimore or Atlanta? So. It's in Baltimore. I think it. I don't know, but it's all I know. It's 3 days after Christmas, and I will not be there for that fight. No.
Happy holidays, Gervonta Davis.
That's his, he said that is his Christmas gift. Let me see what it say. Who? I don't even know what it says, but there's too many. It was all about Joshua. We talked about Joshua already.
Did you guys catch any of the other fights this past weekend? Charlo scored a knockout.
Okay, the Korobov. I was so sad.
They were booing him too. People were booing.
They just no respect.
Why are you booing?
No, but
what?
And that was the fight that I really wanted to see. And then he ended up he threw a left and it just his shoulder popped out.
Yeah.
Ouch. But Bang Bang Lulu Bang Bang on the undercard, my girl, she got dropped, but she won.
She did,
that
but
was tough.
That's a good fight right there.
That was girls can fight.
Absolutely.
Jeez. You just have to find the girls that fight like that. I get it.
That's true. Every time someone criticizes, women fighting, I'm like, there are certain people, I'm like, have you just not watched them fight before? Like, has anyone ever seen a boring Heather Hardy fight? Like, I've never seen a boring Heather Hardy fight.
The last fight she was cut one. She got knocked out by, it was Serrano. She lost
Serrano. Yeah, she lost to Serrano. I
mean, you guys, I swear.
She's another fighter who gets like, I don't want to say no love, but for what she's accomplished. When you hear people talk about kind of all-time women's fighters, she's never in the conversation for some reason. Like, people even say Clarissa Shields before they say Amanda Serrano.
Yeah, Amanda Serrano.
That's the truth right there. Like,
how many weight classes that she's won?
7?
7, 8. Yeah.
Wow.
That's a real GOAT right there. I don't know shit about women's boxing. I'll be honest.
You better learn, boy.
Somehow I never watched a women's.
Do you
fight.
not watch Katie Taylor?
Why? Katie Taylor is another one.
You need to watch. There's
you
some
watch
really
Heather Hardy
good fights.
Man, you're missing some good fights. I think.
You really are.
Yeah,
you really are. There are some good fights.
We met once before briefly at the weigh-in for, I think it was Aaron Tohill and Maricela Cornejo.
Oh yeah.
Right?
Oh yeah. Oh, for 360.
Yeah, for 360. Yeah, for 360. So there's a lot of
There's
good
some-
women's fighters. You're missing out, man.
Oh
Yeah.
man.
Did you not watch the Maricela and no.
Franchon Cruz?
That was a good fight.
When was that?
That was over. God.
That was right
That
here.
was here next door. Oh my
When
god.
was this?
You know what?
You have to like try
What?
to not know this stuff.
Even the Katie Taylor versus the Belgian chick, that was a good fight. remember?
Pursoon, they need a rematch on that.
Yeah,
won.
Pursoon won. He
You
saw
Oh,
that.
you actually watched that
Yeah.
fight, huh?
I
like
thought
Pursoon.
Katie Taylor did enough, but
What?
I did.
No.
I thought she did enough.
I did
No.
not like the fact DAZN went and followed Pursoon while she was crying. And like, I'm like, dude,
Get
give
off her
her.
face.
Like, she just felt like she got robbed in the
Yeah.
ring. She just put on one hell of a performance against one of the a future Hall of Famer, and you're gonna try to, you know,
To me, it's like if that
It's
crowd was
emotional,
following
man.
you, that
Whatever.
means you did something right, you know? And I honestly, I thought Pursoon edged it out. She just outworked her at
Oh,
the end.
someone said Taylor lost her last 2 fights. Huh. No, Bang Bang needs to get her rematch with the one that she lost her belt. She should have won. And I forgot her name, but when she was trying, I'm like totally going to spill. I mean, she said that she was sick, but clearly she was in Big Bear storing herself so she wouldn't sign or get the rematch. And now I think she's pregnant now. So, and that was a fight.
who?
Forgot her name. She fought on the Superfly card when
Let me
Bang
see.
Bang was bloody as. That was when Tom Loeffler was doing the Superfly card over at the Forum.
Forum.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah, I forgot her name. Lulu, if you're watching this, what's her name again? I always ask, when is the rematch? When's the rematch? Because that's a fight that I want to see again.
Did you watch Sinisa Estrada's fight?
Yes.
Oh, you did
Yeah.
watch that one?
Oh,
I didn't like that they let her fight with that opening on her
Yeah,
forehead.
Marlene Esparza?
Yeah.
Yeah.
it was too bad.
like
That was
Tyson
bad.
Fury, they let him fight.
That was bad.
I could see the back of his head
nasty.
and the person behind him through his cut.
That was
But
nasty.
But they let him fight.
yeah,
That was bad.
but then remember the fight
she was
after
losing,
that?
though.
She was.
Marlene?
Yeah.
Yeah, she was.
Yeah.
I was they thought it was close.
They thought it was, yeah.
When you hear the commentators talking about it,
Yeah,
I
they-
didn't think it was close. I thought she was
didn't think
clearly
so?
losing. I thought Sinisa was running away with that
I thought
fight
it was
after
closer
about
than-
5 rounds.
I thought it was closer than the scorecards reflected, but
Really?
she still lost with that big thing
She
on her
lost,
forehead.
yeah.
That thing was just, I mean, it just kept gushing out and gushing out. Oh, Crawford's fighting.
Yeah.
I mean, sadly that. Stop yawning.
He doesn't like him.
It-
The meme
it's-
machine.
Okay, let's.
No respect.
Another
you know
great
what?
opponent, right, Sean?
The meme machine?
He had
He's undefeated, bro.
He made a comment. And a lot of people got really upset that he said, "I've done more than most of the welterweights, every welterweight except Pacquiao,
Who said this?
Crawford." And some people were like, "What are you talking
He
about?
really doesn't like Crawford.
Why don't you like him?"
Because of comments like that. He
Okay. Well, I mean, what does Crawford need to? I know he needs to
needs
fight.
to fight somebody.
Okay.
Somebody.
But no one ever wants to cross the
best-
street.
Yeah.
All these
Yeah,
stupid.
exactly.
It's
No,
all.
man.
It's the promoters.
That's what I've been trying.
It's
to
the
believe.
promoters.
I don't believe that.
What do you mean you don't believe
If
that?
your best win is against a 122-pound Gamboa,
But do you think Terrence Crawford like legitimately doesn't want to fight Errol
No.
Spence or Sean Porter or those guys? He's not afraid of any of those.
he's
Men.
not
None of
afraid
those
of
guys
them.
are afraid of each
No.
other. But at the end of the day, what happens is you have Al Heyman, who has such a rich stable of welterweights that he doesn't need Terrence Crawford to make
Exactly.
money. He doesn't need him. He can go and make all his welterweights mix up.
he needs to make his fights first before he makes. the
Yeah,
other
but the
fights.
thing is, there's so many of them, it's
Yeah.
never going to reach Bud Crawford, right? So at the end of the day,
So
the
don't talk
business
about
just won't make
you've
sense.
Done more than every other welterweight when you haven't.
I'm just
Now
saying
you're
it's not
lying
Bud's
to
fault.
yourself.
That's
Yeah,
not
it's
bad.
just not
not
Bud's
Bud's
fault.
fault.
It's your
Yeah.
fault for saying it. Don't say it if it's not
Well,
true.
look at fighters say all kinds. Clarissa Shields said she could beat Triple G, but at some she did. But at some point, you have to understand that this is a fighter's mentality. They have to think
They
that
wanna
they're the
fight
best.
everyone, yeah.
like meaning
Can't
if
lie to
if you
yourself.
if you asked one of the top welterweights in the world, like, how do you think you would do against Errol Spence? If I said, Bud, how do you think you do against Errol Spence? And you go, oh, I think I get my ass kicked a little bit. That'd be weird. You know,
Oh,
like,
yeah,
like
I
he has to be
understand
confident.
that, but to say you've done more than the other welterweights,
Well, he
That's
was an
kinda
undisputed
crazy.
world champion.
He
at
was
140,
undisputed.
yeah.
Yeah, not.
But he was an
not.
undisputed
and
world
he's
He
champion.
can
who?
say that
Who
though.
did he fight to win those titles?
The other welterweight champions have never
say
done
that.
that before. They cannot say that. He was an undisputed world champion. It's incredibly rare.
Yeah, in a very weak 140-pound division. You can't even name who he fought for those titles. It was a bunch of vacants and a bunch of fighting guys who won a vacant belt.
The thing is, he still did it. He still did it. Those guys.
If it was so easy, why didn't somebody else just come along and clean up all the 140-pound vacant belts? Because they couldn't do it.
Danny moved up.
Oh yeah, is Danny fighting? Who's he? Did they?
Yeah, they announced it.
Who's he fighting? Because it's not Spence, obviously.
Oh yeah.
Because remember he got in the ring after the Spence fight.
Yeah, it's
I don't know.
Is it Reddick? Is that how you say it?
Redneck.
Redneck?
Redneck?
No, not Redneck.
What? I'm like, what?
I'm mispronouncing his name. But they announced it.
When did I saw that they
announced it yesterday?
Oh, yesterday. Okay.
Yeah.
Red Cat.
Oh, Ivan.
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 Yeah.
Okay.
How do you say his last name?
I don't know.
Yes.
He's trained by Sugar Shane Mosley.
After the show, we're gonna have you do the map. Mexico map. You should be pretty good at this because you're Filipino.
Oh, I don't know.
Sean did really good.
Well.
They gave me an A-. I think
9 out of 10.
is what they said.
Wait, what do you got? What do
I have to do?
You have to. We're gonna point at a state or a city on that Mexican map, and you have to try to pronounce it the best you can.
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll find out.
Yeah, but Red something is fighting Danny.
I don't know how to pronounce his last name, but they announced it. Yeah, we'll just call him Ivan.
It's so weird. I saw him. I saw him at the Nevada Boxing Hall of Fame. I see him at the gym. I interview him, and I never bother to ask how do you say your last name.
I apologize, by the way. I should know how to pronounce your name.
I'm sorry, Ivan.
And
Redneck.
And if you watch this, I don't mean it in a disrespectful way at all.
Yeah.
I should know how to do it, but I
no, don't worry. There's so many, even on during fights, commentators butcher last names. I'm like, oh my God. In the fighter meetings, didn't you ask him how to say your last name? Phonetically write it out. I do it all the time. When Danny Jacobs fought Kotundakwa, you know how many times I had to keep saying it? I'm like, and I even had him, I'm like, can you say it? I'm like, he's like, that's not how you spell it. I go, no, but that's how I see it and I hear it. And everyone's like, I don't even want to pronounce it. All the names, they butchered it so bad.
There's all these names that we can't even agree upon. There's like 15 different ways that people say Rigondeaux or Rigondau. Demetrius Andrade is another. Yeah.
Andrade.
So Demetrius
I asked him.
Andrade is another one that people say Andrade all the time. Yeah,
it's Andrade. I asked him. I'm like, how do you say? He's like Andrade.
Andrade.
Demetrius Andrade. Yeah.
It's because he doesn't know Spanish. He can't say it correctly.
And then people say, is it Chavez or Chavez? Which one is it?
Chavez. Right?
Yeah. When people say Chavez, I'm like,
That's
what did that? And there are some Mexican people, Spanish people that will say Chavez. So I'm confused. I go, maybe it was said like that.
Probably Brandon Rios, right?
Probably Stacks.
Stacks, man. Stacks can't get anyone's name right. And he'll put a whole different last name on you. He'll be like, "You're Gio Rodriguez." We're here with Gio Rodriguez in the thing, and then we'll be live.
Starts with a G.
Yeah, close. Yeah, we'll be live, and he'll be like, "We're here with Gio Rodriguez." Oh man.
Oh, Derevyanchenko. Derevyanchenko is a hard one. Everyone does that
Derevyanchenko.
And then there's just a lot of names.
There's a ton of them.
Oh, did you see that?
Some people say Suleki.
Some people say Vasily, and some people say Vasil.
It's Vasily. Well, because you know that they changed his actual spelling of his name is Vasiliy.
Yeah.
And for when he came to America, just like a lot of the other fighters,
Alexander
or Gennady with the IY. So it was when they come here, they changed it to make it look Americanized. Yeah. But then when they are solidified, they're solid, they're a champion, then they go back to the way they spell it out. I remember I was like, that's wrong. Like, no, it's right. I'm like, oh.
A lot of people were saying that Gennady, when he fought, who did he fight? I can't remember. Maybe Derevyanchenko. A lot of people were like, oh, stupid the zone. They messed up again. They misspelled it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they did.
No, I get that all the time. I'm like, nope. Nope. And sometimes I just ask the fighter, how do you spell it? How do you say your name? And they tell me. I'm like, they're the ones that said it.
It's like a guy from the source.
It's Conte, not.
Yeah, it's Conte. No. They did announce that maybe Estrada and
El Gallo Estrada?
El Gallo Estrada, I don't know if the fight is supposed to be in Miami against Calify. Okay. I'm a little sad because in Miami, I get it's during the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Where are the fans? Like
The boxing fans in
the
Miami?
boxing fans, they're all there for football. And I spoke to Bob Arum about that, and I'm like, what do you think? He's like, it's a load of shit. Like, he said it. I still have to upload that footage. But he's like, it's so stupid. You never want to put on a fight, do fight week anytime when there's a big event, especially Super Bowl, because the people that are there are for Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Imagine the hotel rooms, how expensive it's going to be, the
Yes.
flights.
Oh, yeah.
You might not even find a fight hotel around the area. And I understand that they're trying to bring boxing to different parts of the country, but you're bringing El Gallo Estrada and Calify to Miami.
They don't have a special draw
There's
there.
no,
Yeah.
I'm so confused.
Yeah.
I don't know, but I'll still go if they cover fight. If like Ring and all them cover my flight. But that fight's supposed to be set, and then I don't know who else is supposed to be on the undercard, but it's no one from Miami. It's no one. That like maybe like Ortiz would be a good fight.
Like a Cuban,
that would Cuban. Something like that.
Or Puerto Rican,
To bring the fans.
I'll ask you a question we've asked here before. What do you think about an American fighter not fighting or possibly fighting on like a 4th of July weekend when everybody's at home barbecuing and you're at home with your family watching the screen? Why is it that there isn't a big American fighter marketing themselves on that weekend? What do you think?
I thought about that. I think for us for Americans in general, our thing is to just get so drunk and just watch fireworks and be with your family, because it's a time for independence and for your ancestors or your relatives, whoever fought for our freedom. And I think I wouldn't want to watch a fight on 4th of July because it's the tradition of you're watching. You're out. You're watching fireworks. You're watching channel whatever for the New York, whatever fireworks, and it's just no.
Why not make the fight earlier?
No, because people are prepping. It's like 4th of July is a very big day. It's very sentimental to a lot of people. For they died for us. They died for our country.
I feel like that, and people are probably going to take this the wrong way, but Americans don't have the same sense of nationalism when it comes to fighters that some other countries do.
Not anymore.
And what I mean by that is, I don't know that they ever did, in the sense that, like, if you're in an arena and, for example, a Mexican fighter comes on that you don't know who's on an untelevised undercard, the Mexican fans in the arena will gravitate for and cheer for that fighter. And that's true for English fans as well.
Oh, yeah.
Right? So if you're in an arena, an English fighter comes out, I feel like, for whatever reason, Americans don't get behind people just because they're American, right? Like, they're not just going to cheer for you just because you're from here. Like, you
they'll
have
still
to have,
boo you.
Yeah, they'll
They
boo
don't
you.
care.
They'll do all kinds of stuff. So to some extent, I feel like it's just not a big deal.
Yeah.
And I can't explain necessarily why that is, but I will say that, like, in arenas that are filled with English fans, I would love to. One of my bucket list items is to go watch a big fight in England filled with English fans, because just watching them here, when you have either Ricky Hatton fans in a stadium, Amir Khan fans in a stadium,
only 3,000 of them.
It's there's 3,000 or 4,000 people who came from England to watch that,
They
and
travel.
it's electric. It's
Yeah.
absolutely electric. So I think some of it is probably that we don't necessarily gravitate to fighters
Let
in
me
that way.
follow that up with another question. We asked Kelly Pavlik, right? We asked him, how do you feel that there aren't really many stars or champions that are American of European descent? Right. In other words, Caucasian.
Oh.
How do you feel about that?
There's not a lot of white American champions. Kelly Pavlik was a white American champion.
Oh, yeah.
And you know what he told us? He told us there was a lot of pressure on him.
Yeah.
Oh,
Why?
really?
Why?
Because he was the quote-unquote white hope.
White hope.
Right?
Oh, okay.
And a lot of these networks, when he was on HBO, they didn't really want to invest in him.
Yeah, that he wasn't a draw.
Because they're like, why? If we can invest in these Mexican fighters, right, who are going to be bigger draws, make us more money, Right, he couldn't get on the biggest cards because he was white.
Yeah.
Like he didn't have a following and stuff.
How do you feel about
Well,
that?
I don't know that that's because you're white. Meaning, like if let's say for instance I'm a fighter, I'm white, and I have 2 million Instagram followers, I'm gonna get on a card.
I think,
Right,
I think
right,
no.
like-
I think now the
Different
times are
times.
changed.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay,
it's-
yeah,
I think
I was
it's
gonna
now
say.
changed.
Have that
Times have
opportunity.
changed.
Well,
Yeah.
even that's now, but the equivalent of that would be to say, let's say I could fill 300 seats in an arena. I get on a card. It doesn't like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
To some extent, all promoters are interested in how many tickets you can sell at any
Yeah.
level, right?
Chocolate.
So like, yeah. So I.
But he's actually he's good. Like
Yeah, he's good.
Yeah.
if you're a boring fighter, but you have a lot of, if you're a good-looking fighter, but you can't fight for shit, but you'll still sell tickets, you'll still get on the card.
You're still going to get on the card.
You're
right?
gonna get
So-
on the card.
So I don't know that like being white versus not being white really has anything to do with it.
I think now it's different.
Yeah, and now
Maybe then,
definitely
yeah.
now it's different. At the end of the day, I think what people care about is how many viewers are you going to bring, how many seats are you going to sell, or can we make an interesting enough fight that people would want to watch it again. I guess I never gave it much thought that there was some disproportionate
Because all
number.
you watch on TV is Mexicans and African Americans fighting, and Asians, right?
Well, no, I mean, like, no, I don't feel that way. Like, there's a lot of English boxers who are white. There's a lot of
not
European
American. But not
boxers.
American.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. But, yeah, I mean, I don't know. I never really thought about it.
I know. Now I'm thinking.
I'm like trying to run
I'm
through
just gonna
the-
ask, are you white?
I'm going to pull
not,
up
like really.
the Box Rec Champions list real quick. See what the...
Caleb Plant.
see
Caleb Plant.
Caleb
yeah.
Plant.
Yeah.
Caleb Plant's one.
Caleb Plant.
There you
That's
go.
one.
Good example.
Like the ones that mostly got is Caleb Plant and White Chocolate. Like, and then if
Yeah,
you
but
go-
even before Kelly Pavlik, who can you think
who
of?
else can you name? Yeah,
No, that is true.
yeah. And you think of the heavyweight division. You think of what's the guy that was in Rocky V?
Tommy Morrison?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, interesting.
Oh, interesting. You see Pacquiao? Someone just asked me about Pacquiao. I know.
Who's the guy who just fought?
Huh?
The guy who just fought?
Wait, what are you talking?
What was his height?
Oh,
Jerwin
Ancajas?
Ancajas.
Yeah, there you
Yeah.
go.
Yeah. So there was Casimero that he beat. He knocked out. What's his face? What is his name? He was supposed to fight Inoue. Everyone wanted him to fight Inoue. The African guy, South Africa.
Oh, yeah.
What is
I
his
can't
name?
remember names, but
I can't
yeah.
remember his name. But
he
he
was
knocked.
calling out, you know.
Oh, Tete.
Tete.
Solani Tete.
Yeah, Solani Tete. He knocked him out. I mean, that was a very, very.
Give me the monster. That's what he said, right?
Oh.
Yeah,
Give me the
and Monster's like, okay. But John Riel Casimero, he's three times, no, is it, what belts does he have?
He
He
has
made
the-
history that night. And then
It's a
Jerwin
debut.
Ancajas, and then he's in the likes with Donnie Nietes. Well, Pacquiao's already, he's way up there. But I just had to do that shout out. But Pacquiao just got a degree in
I saw that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Kicking ass.
He was in full.
PhD in boxing.
no, it was for government. Something, yeah.
Political science type of stuff.
Yeah.
Nice.
That was not, it was good. That's good to see. I mean, see,
Do
boxers, you
do
guys
you
can.
want to see him as a president of the Philippines?
It's going to happen.
Is it gonna
I
happen?
told him, I go, even if you don't want to run, they will write your name in. You have no choice.
Split
you
decision.
and Boo Boy,
Split
that's
decision.
it. You and Boo Boy, president, vice president. This is what's going to happen. Yeah. But yeah, I know it's a tough spot to be in because he's already he's a champion in everyone's eyes there, and he has no choice. He has no choice.
And we're what, an hour 40 in almost?
Hey,
shoot.
for real. Dang.
Man, I just wanted to ask for next year, 2020, right? We're approaching the new year.
Mm-hmm.
What are some of your goals? Question to both of you guys.
Yeah.
Goals or any new stuff coming up for 2020?
Goals for me, I'm looking to expand into more sports.
Okay.
Yeah, and keep trying to figure out if I want to do podcast yet. I mean, now there's a lot of podcasts.
Yeah,
Like,
there's a lot.
it's oversaturated. But
I think people will watch your podcast.
Yeah, I think
though.
so.
I think so.
You have
I
a
mean,
good
why not?
Audience.
Mine will be very different. I mean, I'm a girly girl. But yeah, I want to. I've gone much more I'm much more active on my personal YouTube, and so
that's where it's at.
It is, and I still love ring. That's my baby, but I like to meet more people like you guys and talk more boxing, and and I'd like to see some more women in the sport.
There you go.
Yeah, that is the goal for 2020, and for peace.
Of course,
she gets the crown
every day.
I know.
She gets the crown.
And I want to see fights. I want to see the welterweights fight. I want to see some good heavyweight fights. I want to see
Crawford fight someone.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, if Santa could bring you a fight, what fight would you want? If the boxing gods can bring you a fight.
Andy Ruiz again.
Oh, that's a good one. I'm gonna have to think about that one.
Okay. Same question for Sean then.
Which one, Santa's fight or 2020?
Start with Santa. Start with Santa.
If I started with Santa, I would want to see Terrence Crawford fight another top welterweight in the world, because the position I've stated on your show, on my show in the past, I suspect that he is the number one welterweight in the world. He just has not had the opportunity to show it. And I think that given the opportunity to show it, we would find out. And I'm very curious to know. So that's I would like to see Terrence Crawford against, it's hard to say Errol Spence, given Errol's current predicament. At this point in time, really, it's just wishing Errol like a healthy and speedy recovery. But absent a Spence, a Porter, a Danny Garcia, even a Manny Pacquiao, Keith Thurman, I think any one of those would be a good Christmas gift.
Yeah. And first question. Just Boxing Live Foundation, right? Coming soon?
Yes, sir. So to me, the Just Boxing Foundation, as I mentioned it here before, so we're still a growing organization, and it's technically not going to be finalized until sometime, hopefully, in the first quarter of next year. And so my mission is to grow Just Boxing Foundation and help more people.
Hey,
excellent.
Where are you based out of?
Hawthorne.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sweet Science Boxing Gym.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sundays at 2.
That's right.
Yeah,
Sundays,
we
2
were
p.m.
there.
Just Boxing Live.
Times.
Okay.
Check out the last episode. I was on there with
Gio
Sean.
Garcia.
We went off on that fight, right? Andy Ruiz.
Yeah, we did. We did.
It's like after the fight, you're like, I'm itching to just go. Let's go do a podcast right now.
Go. Next day.
Just Boxing Live, it's definitely in service of, of the guests and the young fighters. So thanks, Gio, for coming out and all that different stuff. I love having all sorts of people from the boxing community on there, and especially promoting young fighters, amateurs, people who are just starting in their career. We've been fortunate to have a lot of really great guests. But to be honest, there's a lot more that we could do to help the boxing community. And that's what I want to do.
Hey,
perfect.
Very good.
Where can we follow you? Where can we follow you, Cynthia?
It's no secret. You can follow me at Just Boxing Live on Facebook, Just Boxing Live on Instagram. You can follow me at Just Boxing on YouTube, Just Boxing YouTube channel. It's literally on every piece of clothing that I own. So if you guys are watching the video and you forget,
Just Boxing. I like
Just
that.
Boxing.
It's catchy.
No games, just boxing.
There you go.
All right. What about you, Cynthia?
You can follow me at Twitter at Cynthia_Conte and Instagram at The Real Fight Girl, and my personal YouTube is The Real Fight with Cynthia Conte, and you can also see my YouTube channel. Some of my other interviews for Ring TV, which is Ring Magazines. Oh, how do I even say this? There's so many different names. Ring Magazine's YouTube is called Ring.
Digital?
Now I don't even remember. Ring Digital. Yeah, someone owns Ring Magazine. Okay. They won't. We tried to buy it, but it's like they're asking for $1 bajillion. So yeah, you can find all my stuff there.
Hey.
For her too. All right. And stop. All right. Any last stuff you guys want to promote? Talk about?
I want Chocolatito to come back. That's who That's a dream. My dream fight actually was always. It was Inoue and some other guy. It was in the Superfly division, but then he moved up. Inoue moved up. Who was it? No. Was it not Donnie.
No.
I think it was another Asian guy.
He was on a winning streak too, right?
Yeah. I can't remember, but I said I wish those two fought. But I'm excited for Chocolatito to come back. Hey. I want to see what he has.
Left. Yeah.
Future Hall. I mean, he's a Hall of Famer to me. Nice. And that's one of my trainer's nephews.
Any stuff you want to promote, Chris?
Anything? No, just follow us against the ropes, the ropes _ and againstdaropes.online.
Yeah. Thank you guys for coming.
Thanks for having me.
Great
I know,
episode.
thanks. Can't wait to see if all of our predictions come to fruition.
Yeah, make sure to follow Just Boxing Live. Make sure to follow Cynthia Conte, the real fight girl, right? Thank you guys for coming once again.
Thank you.
That was episode number 66.
Oh, and happy holidays to everyone.
Yes.
Yeah,
happy
absolutely.
holidays. Have a safe and fattening holiday. Stay safe. Take an Uber.
Except Andy Ruiz. Back in the gym, Andy.
No more tamales, Andy.
Some coronas away.
And watch the fights.
Hey.
All of them everywhere.
Hey.
All right. Thank you. That was
All
it.
right.
We out.
Thank you. Oh. Oh my goodness.
Like you already know, I said I'm a fun guy.
Hola amigos, soy Juan Francisco Gallo Estrada. Quiero mandar un saludo para mis amigos de Contra las Cuerdas. Échenle muchas ganas. Un abrazo, muchas bendiciones.
Shout out to Against the Ropes. You know what mine is? Let's box, bitches. It's almost fight night.
Shout out to Against the Ropes. Thank you for the support. Keep doing your thing. You're doing a great job. So thank you and best wishes.
Huge shout out to Against the Ropes.
Shout out to Against the Ropes. Thank you guys for the interview, and hope to see you guys soon.
Against the Ropes, always doing the right thing.
Shout out to Against the Ropes, man. I appreciate you guys for having me, taking the time on y'all day.
Against the Ropes, #1.
Freddie Roach.
Thank you very much.